Episode 10:0 to Ashes of Victory. The city was drenched in monsoon silence as Naksh stood beneath the rusted arches of his childhood orphanage. Rain spilled through the leaking roof. Faded murals of forgotten dreams peeled off the walls. He wasn't just visiting, he was reclaiming memories that had long been buried beneath concrete ambition. A boy offered him a half-broken toy truck and asked, "Are you the man on the billboard?" Naksh smiled. "I used to be." Behind the veil of his media empire, the storm was brewing. Maya had unearthed something dangerous. Not corruption, but betrayal. A data trail leading back to Veer, Naksh's closest confidant, revealed stolen tech, falsified board votes, and a deal with a rival conglomerate. The same Veer who would help him code Empire's backbone during sleepless nights and cold coffee. Naksh didn't confront him. Not yet. He needed proof, and he needed a plan. In the depths of Empire Tower's archive floor, Alisha found it. Hidden within outdated records and shadow emails was a ghost entity, *Chronobyte*, a shell company Veer had fed for years. The theft wasn't for cash. It was for power. Veer was building a replica. A duplicate of Insta Empire that would rise from the ashes if Naksh ever fell. Elsewhere, Arav, now Empire's tech prodigy, was experimenting with neural network simulations to predict emotional outcomes from news cycles. A controversial move. Naksh supported it, but only for social upliftment. Arav's prototype had predicted the public's sorrow over the refugee crisis days before it hit headlines. "We can help before they even ask," Naksh whispered, staring at the data like it was scripture. Meanwhile, across a marble conference table, Maya stared down investor sharks, pitching Empire's newest initiative, *Resonance*, an outreach algorithm connecting survivors of violence with safe houses and counselors. A few scoffed. One investor smirked, "Empathy doesn't sell." Maya responded, "Not yet. But it changes lives. And we sell change." Naksh watched from behind the glass wall. Pride flickered in his chest, but so did fear. Because Veer had vanished. No texts. No return calls. Not even digital footprints. The man who once dreamt alongside him had become a phantom. Late that night, Naksh received a package. No name. Just a drive, a photo, and a note. The image showed Veer standing beside Karthik Rao, head of a media titan known for hostile takeovers. The drive contained schematics of *Chronobyte to a twisted mirror of Empire, fueled by stolen tech and backed by algorithms that could manipulate emotions at scale. The note read, "You built a legacy. He built a weapon*. Naksh didn't flinch. He summoned Maya, Arav, and Alisha. "We are not just protecting Empire. We are protecting truth." What followed was a 72-hour sprint through data sets, IP firewalls, and public sentiment algorithms. They found ways to deconstruct *Chronobyte's engine, exposing its emotional manipulation patterns. But Naksh knew exposure wasn't enough. He needed a story. He called Meera, the documentary filmmaker who would once captured Empire's rise. "Let's finish the story," he said. Meera agreed, but with one condition. "You must tell it all. Even the sins." Naksh nodded. Even the sins. The documentary aired within days. It showed Empire's heart, its rise from orphanages, its outreach to survivors, its technological breakthroughs. But it didn't hide Naksh's flaws. His past deals, his unchecked growth, his missed signs of betrayal. The truth was raw. And it set fire to Chronobyte's illusion. Public trust flooded back to Naksh, not because he was perfect, but because he was transparent. But Veer wasn't done. He surfaced with an open challenge, an AI debate, streamed live, pitting Empire's empathetic AI against Chronobyte's manipulative simulator. Stakes were simple: win public favor or surrender data rights. Naksh agreed. The day arrived, and so did the world. Lines blurred between code and conscience. The simulators clashed. Chronobyte manipulated emotions. Empire responded with resilience. Veer launched a campaign exploiting loneliness during holidays. Empire countered with real-time responses from counselors powered by Arav's algorithms. After hours of emotional warfare, the audience voted. Empire's AI won, not by dominance, but by connection. Veer walked off the stage, defeated but dignified. Naksh met him in the corridor. "I never wanted war," he said. Veer replied, "But you built an empire. War came to you." Then he handed Naksh a note: "Ashes always remember the fire." Naksh folded it into his coat pocket. That night, he returned to the orphanage. Same boy, same broken truck. This time, Naksh sat beside him and began fixing it. "Why fix something old?" the boy asked. Naksh smiled. "Because it still matters." Episode 10:03 The Throne Beneath the Ashes. Kavin stood at the edge of the rooftop, the wind slicing through his coat like the whispers of ghosts past. Below him, the city pulsed with life, unaware that its future was being rewritten tonight. The empire he had clawed back from ruin was no longer just a business. It was a battlefield. And the war had reached its final act. Earlier that morning, Kavin had received a message. No sender. No signature. Just a line, asterisk, "The throne is not yours until the ashes speak." Asterisk, he knew what it meant. The old warehouse on 47th Street, the place where his father had buried the truth about the family's darkest deal. It was time to dig it up. He arrived at the warehouse with Lily by his side. She had changed. No longer the woman who once doubted him, she had become his fiercest ally. "Are you sure?" she asked. Kavin nodded. "If I don't face this, I'll never be free." Inside, the air was thick with dust and memory. Kavin found the ledger hidden beneath a loose floorboard. It detailed a secret alliance between his father and the Myriads, a criminal syndicate that had funded the family's rise. The cost? Silence. Betrayal. Blood. Kavin stared at the names. His father. His uncle. Even his childhood mentor, Mr. Grayson. All complicit. All guilty. Suddenly, the door slammed shut. A voice echoed through the warehouse. "You should have left it buried." It was Marcus Steele, the last surviving Myriad enforcer. Kavin turned slowly. "I'm not afraid of you anymore." Marcus lunged. Kavin fought back, not with fists, but with truth. He threw the ledger at Marcus' feet. "This is your legacy. Rot in it." Marcus hesitated, then laughed. "You think exposing us will save you? The empire will crumble." Kavin stepped forward. "Then let it crumble. I'll build something better." Outside, Lily had called the press. Cameras flashed as Kavin emerged, holding the ledger high. "This is the truth," he said. "My family built its fortune on lies. I won't continue that legacy." The fallout was immediate. Stocks plummeted. Board members resigned. But the people rallied. Kavin's honesty sparked a movement. Young entrepreneurs, whistleblowers, reformers, they saw in him a leader who wasn't afraid to burn the old to forge the new. Back at the mansion, Kevin sat alone in the study. Lily entered quietly. "You did it," she said. Kevin shook his head. "I started it." She placed a folder on the desk. "Applications. People who want to join your new venture. They believe in you." Kevin opened the folder. Names. Faces. Stories. Not just employees, partners. He looked at Lily. "Will you be my co-founder?" She smiled. "I already am." Kevin walking into a press conference, not as the heir to a broken empire, but as the architect of a new one. The throne beneath the ashes had spoken, and it chose him. Episode 10:04 The Heir and the Hurricane. Kevin stood in the center of the boardroom, the silence around him louder than any applause. The empire was his now, officially. But the crown weighed heavier than he'd imagined. The ledger had exposed the rot, and the press conference had ignited a revolution. But revolutions don't end with truth. They begin with it. The boardroom was filled with unfamiliar faces. Reformers. Activists. Innovators. People who had once been locked out of the empire's gates. Now, they were being invited in. Kevin had made a promise to rebuild the empire with transparency, equity, and vision. But promises are fragile things. And someone was already trying to break his. That morning, Lily had intercepted a message. A whistleblower from the finance division had uncovered a hidden account, one that had been siphoning millions into offshore havens. Kevin's uncle, Charles, had denied involvement. But the trail led straight to his signature. Kevin confronted Charles in the garden behind the mansion. The air was thick with jasmine and tension. "You stole from the people," Kevin said. Charles laughed. "I protected the legacy." "You're too naive to understand." Kevin didn't flinch. "Then you'll watch it burn." He froze the accounts, filed charges, and made the announcement publicly. The empire would no longer protect its own at the cost of justice. The backlash was swift. Old allies turned cold. Investors pulled out. The media called him reckless. But the people called him brave. Meanwhile, Lily had begun assembling a new advisory council. She brought in voices from the grassroots, women who had run cooperatives, students who had built startups, and former employees who had once been discarded. Kevin watched them speak with passion, not fear. It was the empire's new heartbeat. But storms don't wait for calm. One night, Kevin received a call from a blocked number. A voice whispered, "You've made enemies. And they don't play fair." The next morning, the mansion's security system was hacked. Files were stolen. Personal data leaked. Kevin's past, his mistakes, his regrets, were splashed across tabloids. Lily was furious. "They're trying to break you." Kevin nodded. "Then we show them what rebuilding looks like." He held a press conference. No script. No PR team. Just truth. He spoke of his failures, his regrets, his journey, and his resolve. The world listened. And something shifted. The empire's stock began to recover. Not because of profits, but because of trust. Then came the hurricane. A literal one. A Category 4 storm barreled toward the coast, threatening the city's poorest districts. Kevin didn't hesitate. He diverted funds, mobilized resources, turned the empire's logistics division into a relief network. Lily coordinated shelters. Volunteers poured in. The mansion became a command center. During the storm, Kevin stood in a flooded street, helping evacuate families. Cameras caught him carrying a child through waist-deep water. The image went viral. After the storm, the city was bruised but breathing. Kevin's empire had saved lives and earned something money couldn't buy: respect. But the shadows hadn't vanished. Charles, now under house arrest, had one final card. He leaked a document suggesting Kevin had manipulated the board vote to seize control. The media pounced. Kevin was summoned to testify before a tribunal. Lily stood by him. "You didn't cheat," she said. Kevin nodded. "But I did fight. And I won." At the tribunal, Kevin presented evidence. Emails. Witnesses. Timelines. The truth. The panel cleared him. But the scars remained. That night, Kevin sat alone in the study. The empire was intact. But he was tired. Lily entered quietly. "You changed everything," she said. Kevin looked up. "Did I?" She nodded. "You turned a throne into a bridge." Episode 10:05 The Echo Chamber. Kevin sat in the backseat of a blacked-out SUV, the city lights flickering past like memories he couldn't outrun. The tribunal had cleared his name, but the whispers hadn't stopped. Every headline, every podcast, every tweet dissected his every move. He had become a symbol and a target. The empire was evolving, but so were its enemies. Lily was waiting at the new headquarters, a sleek glass building in the heart of downtown. It wasn't just an office. It was a statement. A declaration that the old empire was gone, and something new had risen in its place. Kevin stepped inside, greeted by a wall of screens showing live data, social sentiment, and global trends. The empire was now digital, decentralized, and dangerously transparent. But transparency had its price. A leak had surfaced, an internal memo suggesting that Kevin's new venture was planning to acquire a media conglomerate known for manipulating narratives. The public was divided. Some saw it as a strategic move. Others saw it as hypocrisy. Kevin called an emergency meeting. The room was tense. Advisors debated. Lily listened. Kevin stood. "We don't buy silence. We amplify truth. Cancel the deal." The decision sent shockwaves. Investors panicked. Stocks dipped. But the people rallied. Kevin's refusal to compromise became a rallying cry. Meanwhile, Charles, still under house arrest, had begun writing a memoir. Excerpts leaked online. Twisted stories. Half-truths. Accusations. Kevin's childhood was dragged into the spotlight. His relationship with Lily. His failures. His fears. Kevin didn't respond. Not publicly. Instead, he visited his old neighborhood. The place where he'd first learned to fight. To dream. To survive. He met with community leaders. Funded scholarships. Rebuilt the local library. The media followed, but Kevin didn't speak. He acted. Back at headquarters, Lily had launched a new initiative, Echo. A platform designed to give voice to the unheard. Artists. Activists. Survivors. Echo wasn't just tech. It was a movement. And it was growing fast. But growth attracts predators. A rival CEO, Cassandra Voss, had begun a smear campaign. She accused Echo of data manipulation. Claimed Kevin was building a surveillance empire. Her words spread like wildfire. Kevin met her in a televised debate. The stage was set. The world watched. Cassandra was sharp, ruthless. She painted Kevin as a wolf in sheep's clothing. Kevin listened. Then he spoke. I've made mistakes. I've lost people. I've been broken. But I've never stopped trying to build something better. Echo isn't about control. It's about connection. The audience erupted. Cassandra faltered. Kevin didn't win the debate. He won the people. That night, Lily found him on the rooftop. You're changing the game, she said. Kevin looked out at the skyline. I'm just trying to play it differently. Suddenly, a drone hovered nearby. A message flashed on its screen, the past isn't done with you. Kevin froze. The drone dropped a package. Inside was a photo. His father, standing with a man Kevin didn't recognize. On the back, he's alive. Kevin staring at the photo, the city humming beneath him, and the empire trembling on the edge of revelation.